Monday. So thank you for everyone for joining us. As always, these are recorded and do go up on our SCORE website. So please, if there's anything ever that you want to see or know about, you can go through and search those. So much amazing information has been shared the last 8 months. I've learned a lot. We've been through a lot together with don't show your house to sure you can show your house, but sign these forms to yes, show your house and just make sure have a mask on.
Yeah.
So one of the things I think we're going to cover today is kind of start to finish open houses. I think if we talked about that.
Well, some of that, and some of the, and good afternoon, everybody. Mark Messimer.
Oh yeah, we have Mark and Robert with MLS listings.
That's the other guy with the other shirt on. Yeah. We've got you down for wanted to talk about what we've been calling throttling a listing, but it's also more of how do I get a listing started, and where do I get a listing started, and what are the needs of my seller? Because Robert's always good about saying it's a seller's directive. Is that how
seller's instructions? Yeah,
it's seller's instructions, right? As to how the realtor has to what's the first step for the realtor. So but as usual, want to sort of go anywhere and everywhere that everyone here wants to try it. So if anybody's got we got the hand raise capability, right, Jody?
Yes, so you can raise your hand if you have questions. These are always meant to be interactive. Ask your questions. This is how we learn. This is also how we come up with new ideas out of these questions. Sandra, who's on, she's listening right now. One of her things was there's a lot of hidden things in MLS that people don't realize that MLS listings can do. So we are here to show you. I think eProperty Watch, and there was another one that was RPR.
RPR, yeah. Wanted to touch on those as sort of those hidden gems. But want to take advantage of Robert's time here with us at the early part of the hour, then free him up to go do Robert stuff. Hey, Joseph Lamb is on. I get to see faces I'm used to seeing. This is great.
I know.
Christy's out there. Christy Niemeyer, I see her.
And feel free to take, put your camera on so we can see you. And again, use that chat feature. Raise your hands and ask questions. That helps to lead the conversation a lot of times, just so that we're not talking to each other.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Mark and Robert, I'll let you guys take it away.
Wonderful.
And thank you all for being here.
You bet. Thank you, Jody. So once again, I'm Mark Messimer. I'm the Director of Industry Outreach for MLS Listings. Robert, would you like to introduce yourself? Welcome to the game, Robert.
Sure. Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here. I'm Robert Bustamante. I'm Director of Compliance for MLS Listings.
So Robert, you say the word compliance and people go, "Oh, those guys." But I actually read your mission statement last week. You sort of made me. And you guys work more off education than you do, you've got the carrot rather than the stick. Maybe that's the way to put it.
Well, yeah, we're compliance because that's an MLS recognizable term across the states, NAR, CAR. But we're more like, I think more MLSs are shifting toward data integrity, data reliability. And that's really, something that's at a premium today with the internet and Craigslist and this, that, and the other thing. People need a source of information that's reliable. And then that's what the MLS does. And that's what compliance does, is help keep the information reliable, timely, and cooperative.
And when it's not?
When it's not, we contact you to bring it into something that's, meets those standards. So that's our work. And quite honestly, we've got, in my opinion, and I'll open with this, we have some of the cleanest MLS data of the MLSs I've seen, because we data share, as with some of the biggies, yeah. And we don't ever have offices without a broker, or we have very few properties without a city, and all of these things we take for granted because the MLS has these business rules built into the system.
Right.
So when you're listing, you can't put the wrong zip code or the city in the wrong county.
Right.
It'll give you an error message. So it keeps all of that data true, and then agents go in and flesh it out and put their own spin on it and get it all pink and rosy, then it gets published to Matrix and Paragon and wherever
We
we're going
start
to send
moving
it.
it.
Yeah. And you start sending it out depending on, like, as we opened, what are the seller's instructions?
Right. Now, one of the things we have done recently, you talked about business rules inside the software. You can't put a Cupertino property in San Mateo County.
Right.
Just the system won't take it. But one of the things the system did take for a long time, but we got it fixed, I think last week, was I added too many zeros. I wanted 1.2 million, but I came out at 120 million.
Yeah, and that's a good message to start with, because this is the SCORE meeting, and SCORE is the oldest
association in the state of California.
California, right? Yeah. So some of these things we do are legacy. The things that Mark Blau might have put in effect in 1905 or whatever, and we're still maintaining. I see you, Mark. That's why I was able to say.
Hey, Robert, I'm only 35.
Okay.
What are you talking about here,
but that was one of the things, is that, like, on original list price, once it was published, you couldn't make the change.
Yeah, couldn't go back in.
Yeah, and I think that was a legacy practice back in the day, when original list price was something that was like highly coveted in some way. But now,
and the day was before the internet, though.
Yeah, right. I mean, it was just like, right when they're starting to publish, right?
Right.
So anyway, we took that restriction off, so people don't have to worry about those typos. They can go right in and look at their listing in Matrix and go, oh darn, I put 27 million and I meant 2.7 million, right? So you're able to change that. You're able to change the address, unit number, right? I don't know why we had that restriction, but where I'm going is the MLS is getting more progressive as we get into this information digital age, and we need to stay current with our subscribing partners. So we always stay as relevant as we can to the marketplace, and because the marketplace shifts and changes over time. So now we're in this digital millennium. And so these are some of the things that we're doing. And it's because we get feedback from folks like Mark and Joseph and so forth. Everyone here is welcome to give us feedback. We can stay in step with as the industry marches down. Mark, you got muted.
That giant German Shepherd was giving me a problem in the background.
Okay.
So, yeah, you're right about the data. And you guys are doing a good job of keeping it pure, keeping it honest, all that kind of stuff. Because I look at the data from other MLSs, and I'm not very impressed with it. I've seen a $124 million 3-bedroom 2-bath home in Fresno stay there for 12 days without a change. They didn't build it in. But one of the best tips you just gave a second ago, you probably didn't even know it.
Did not.
Review your listing before you hit submit.
Yeah, we have that little review.
Yeah, there's a review button right before you hit submit. Go look at the price, make sure you got it in the right place. Did it show up correctly on the map? Right? Is the Latin longs all set up for you? Give it a quick view before you send it out there, because your customers coming, your seller is looking for that listing on the internet.
Yeah,
they want to make sure it's right.
Yeah, and that's tip number one of hidden gems in the listing system is, if you have like a new development that isn't mapping properly, you can move that pin.
Yeah.
And you can move that pin and drop it so that it maps where, previously was just this giant lot, right? And now there's new homes there. You can move that pin, it'll map it, and we'll send that out. People will be able to find it. So that's something that's one of our hidden gems. People don't know that you don't have to stick with that map that's delivered if for whatever reason it's incorrect. And sometimes it happens on properties that, they changed to the door where the door was.
Oh yeah, they moved it to the
other
side.
Yeah, and so you want to just shift it just a little bit, and it'll re-import the data. It's just little things like that you can do.
I had a listing last week. I found I was looking just at listings, and up on the map it was solid blue. It was a solid blue map.
Out in the Pacific somewhere. Yeah.
Oh, this is the Western version.
It's the island version of your property. It's just,
it was out in the ocean. It just somebody made a change to the lat long or something, and there it was. So Robert, let's talk about the objective here. Is listings. Mm-hmm. How to get them in, where to put them, based on what your seller has directed you to do as the realtor.
Right.
And the rule number one is list or exclude.
Right. So our host mentioned earlier that we've been through a lot of changes in the last couple of years, the 2020 and now. And among those changes was the NAR clear cooperation policy, which
Right.
kind of hit everybody like a thunder stick.
Wait a second. I think Mr. Blau has an opinion on the
I'm
clear
sure.
Surprised by
cooperation.
that?
We have an opinion, but we implemented it, right? So
We had to. We didn't get much choice in that.
So, but what we did, and tying it back to our progressive nature, is okay. We have this situation where we need to implement this clear cooperation, but people will have different levels of comfort or different levels of marketability for the property.
Okay.
And so when we first implemented it, there was a big outcry regarding privacy, right? Oh, my client, I have it excluded because my seller is very private, right?
Okay.
And they don't want a lot of traffic. And then people would give us examples of the client is a judge, or there's a felon or whatever.
I like the client is a criminal.
Yeah, client is a criminal, right? I mean, yeah. So they didn't want a lot of notoriety or publicity. They got the notoriety. They wanted more publicity. So anyway, so we looked at it long and hard, and we said, okay, you know what? Well, let's give that seller an option, and we will create our members only concept. And that's the smallest amount of footprint or smallest audience we can bring to a property and still maintain that NAR clear cooperation compliance.
Right. Now, members only are coming soon. That's what we did have.
Yeah. So we had a coming soon, which was just kind of this blob of blobo listings.
Yeah.
Right? It didn't have a lot of framework or structure. So we could have gone back and edit that out, but what we decided to do is bring it into the mainstream matrix, then along with clear cooperation. So now you have solutions for clients that want to pre-market their property to get some that's not ready, right? So it's very clearly defined that this is coming soon, and our members only do not show. It's not ready to be shown or take offers, right?
Okay.
But if it is, and you want to test your market, or you want a very small footprint, you have that, that felon or judge client, you move it over to members only show, you put by appointment only, pre-qualified buyers, you really throttle that traffic down. And that's what we found, that members only show is very private. People are only using that for a small period of time because they're not getting the amount of traffic they really wanted to get.
Right.
And then they move it over to regular active and it goes to Zillow and realtor.com. And
well, and it's a good way to put it, that that you've been using the term for a long time of throttling. Sometimes you mash the accelerator all the way to the floor, you head to active, and off you go to Zillow, right? Sell it in a week.
Well, that's still how 90% of our listings are being marketed. They want the broadest, largest audience that we can get, so we can say we've got the best possible price.
Got it.
Right. And that's what everyone's going to do. But there are conditions where sellers will give you instructions that say, hey, you know what? We really want to keep this really kind of quiet because I'm a CEO of a company and I don't want people to know I'm selling.
Right.
Something like that. And so we have these steps that you can use now. And that's kind of how we got to this, our current MLS, is to give you good, better, best, right? Small, medium, and large, porridge that is not too hot or not too cold. It's just right. And we keep evolving this,
right?
And so we have a pretty good setup right now. And I think at each step, you get a DOM reset, you get a price change history,
right?
And you get a new listing.
Well, you're back in the hot sheet again.
Yeah, right? Yeah. So this really is very listing broker favorable. So there's really, we try to remove all the objections to get the listings in, because that's the goal, is to give our brokers and agents the most current, most broadest amount of information of properties that they can for their clients. And that's also why I participate in that data share.
Okay. Now you mentioned not secrecy, but security, right? We have always heard very secretive. They don't want a lot. They, just this, I'll do it on my own, this and that. And then we came out and we put in a solution that we thought would help agents and their sellers maintain that security level. And then they came back and said, well, really, it's about Dom.
It's all about mean old
All
Mr.
about
Dom.
days on market.
Mean old Mr. Dom. That's what we say. Yeah.
So it was, back to the drawing board, sort of.
And that's where we reset now. We reset those days. So what we want sellers to use our brokers and agents, and we want sellers to use, brokers and agents to use our system, right? So we need to remove the objections or barriers to entry. And we want to create a welcoming, safe, can't think of a better word, but a welcoming, safe environment for them to sell their properties.
Right.
And mean old Mr. Dom was one of these huge people actually writing to me and saying, I don't want to be penalized by days on market, like there's some kind of penalty. And so with that viewpoint, I could see why people would really shy away from calculating the time that it was available. But really, there's a whole science behind Dom. We can't get into now, but it's really pretty much price.
Right. So I'm going to bring up, somebody was asking for a bit of a graphic so we could show some, give a little visual description here. And I think I've got the, this one right here. This ought to work great for us. And boom. Okay. So these are sort of the three levels of active, and so it's a great place to start this discussion, because I see this in listings all the time. And this is all about, when I bring a listing to market, what do I do to stay compliant? And how do I work up to fully active? If I'm not ready to go all the way to the floor with the accelerator, how do I get there? But here's what I see in comments. It's, you go to MLS listings, you log in, you look at a listing, it's in maybe members only, do not show. And the comments say property will be on the MLS in a week.
Right. So
no, folks, you're already on.
You're already on the MLS. Yeah. So this do not show category or do not show listing types brand new to our community, right? We never had, once it was on the MLS, it was all thunder, right? And thunder and lightning.
Right.
And it's a big giant selling machine. And we didn't have any pre-market. So here we have members only, do not show. And this is where people kind of get wrapped around the axle, in my opinion. What can I do? How can I market this while I'm in do not show?
Okay.
Well, the category is used for properties that aren't ready to show and sell. They're not ready yet for whatever reason. Maybe it's not built, maybe it's new construction, right?
Right.
But there's a reason why it's not ready for other brokers and agents to see it. So you can put it in there so you can talk to other people about it, and that satisfies the clear cooperation rule. So Intero can talk to Coldwell Banker, who can talk to Sereno, who can, because everybody sees it, right? So really, this is just coming soon, and it's do not show because it's not ready. And we found out what people were doing. We're getting confused because we didn't use the term coming soon. And I think we actually did not use the term coming soon. It was a board decision, but I think we did not use it because coming soon had lost a lot of its meaning.
Got it.
People were selling their properties as coming soon. And so what does that even mean, right? So we bifurcated it into ready, not ready, right? And so if you're ready, you're on the system, you're in show, very limited audience, small market. You get a new list date, new day of the market. It's like a start when you're coming out of show. So you have a progression.
Right.
And this seems to be really helpful.
And I think back when we had to, first get into clear cooperation and the members only solution that came in, there was a time where people saying, I have to go to do not show. And so let's do one myth bust right now. Yeah. No, you don't.
No, you don't. Yeah, these are options. All of these are options depending upon your seller's needs, right? And you know what? And I'll be perfectly honest. I mean, one of the things about off MLS versus on MLS is sellers seem to think that you don't have to get your property ready when you sell it off MLS. That's a relief. I don't have to paint it or carpet it or whatever in order to sell it. And the reality is you still don't have to put it right in the middle of the MLS. You don't have to do any of those things either.
Right.
Right. Those are things you do so that you get top dollar. Right. If that's not your goal, if your goal is a a speedy sale, or I want very little intrusion. You know, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to paint. You can still put it on the system as, you know, regular active. There's no rule about, you know, best dressed, right? So,
Okay.
you know, I think that's a myth that somehow if you put it on the MLS, in fact, we only require one photo, right? One photo of the outside. Yeah. So inside could look like whatever you want. Just say, hey, come and look. You know, I'm not going to paint it. But the traditional customary thing is that they stage it and do all these wonderful things. And that, you know, that's good. But I'm just saying the myth we want to bust is that it has to be prepared for the MLS. That's not true. You can have it as is or whatever you'd like.
A lot of people do, you know, just leave it as is and it sells, right? In sort of
this
our crazy
market, yeah. I mean, so that's the conversation you have with your client, right? And what we're saying is that we want to give you all of the tools that you're able to do, you know, you're able to use to satisfy that client.
Okay. Hey, second thing I sort of want to bust the myth on is that members only listings aren't active. Turns out they are.
Yeah, they are. They're as an active status, right? So we talked about changing statuses and so forth. So we have the ability just to move them to type. I think that's some of the confusion. It is a active status. You're just throttling, like you said. You're just pulling back completely. Do not show.
Right.
You're putting it in show. You have limited audience, very sort of a private above whisper type marketing, and then you have the full on. But those are all active statuses.
Got it. Hey, Robert, I want to drop down into other ways to control the exposure.
Hey, Mark.
Yeah.
Can I ask you before you do it? Can we just stick on this coming soon thing?
You bet.
Robert, there's some confusion because I had somebody call me and ask me what I thought. I can put a sign up that says "Mark for sale," but as long as they put a "coming soon" on top, that's okay. Is that correct?
If you're a property, so you can always have a
show.
Yeah.
Do not
Okay.
show.
Yeah, I do not show. Yes, you can, but coming soon, sign in the yard, and you just have to answer the question. I'm not ready to show it to you yet, because the guy driving by or walking by might walk up and go, "Hi, I'm interested in looking at this property." And you say, "Well, it's coming soon. Here's my card. I'm going to be here on the 19th." And your seller do the same thing.
So, because all my signs say "for sale." I mean, that's just the way they are. But as long as they put "coming soon" on top of that, make that clear. I'm not in violation. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Because the idea is, and it's very straightforward. So the concept is very simple. That when you're in do not show, that's do not show it. You can advertise it as coming soon all you want, right? You just can't put it's for sale and in do not show. That doesn't make
confusing.
So Robert, but the thing is, and Mark, Don Fernandez called me minutes before this show to ask the same question, because his sign says, you know, Don Fernandez Real Estate for sale right there in the big sign. He was wondering, do I got to go out and buy a new sign now?
No, just put the rider, you know, just put the rider on top. Yeah, because
Nice.
if you put a sold rider on top, it's still going to say for sale, right? I mean, so that's a qualifier. And so that's really, it's really simple. Members only do not show is coming soon. It's not ready.
Now, second question, Robert. Like, I have a property. Somebody, it's on do not show right now. An agent called me and said, "I want to make an offer on the property." Now, I said, "Well, listen, have they even seen the house?" "Oh yeah, we looked at, whatever." I said, "But you understand, it's do not show. I mean, he wants to make an offer on a home he's not going to see it." And he goes, "Well, yeah." I go, "Well, I mean, I have to accept the offer. I mean, if they make an offer, I have to look at it. Correct?
So
you can't stop.
No, you don't. So sellers direct those offers also. So you're required to present offers to the seller, or make them aware there's an offer. Offer's coming, unless they say no offers. Right? Okay. The seller can decide, "I don't want to see any offers till I'm ready."
Oh, I understand.
Right? Yeah. So they control that. So if your seller hasn't made that expression yet and saying, "Yeah, Mark, we'll see offers as they come,"
well,
you can make them.
Nothing. Right. If he says nothing, then I have to.
Well, yeah. If he has nothing, you have to at least let him know that there is an offer, right? And then ask them, "Do you want to see it?" Right? And they'll say, "Yes, I do. I want to see it." But anybody, and you should counsel them, in my opinion, if you're going to look at an offer based on the person not seeing your property. Imagine what it'd be like if you had people seeing your property, right? It doesn't make sense to say, let's take the first offer sight unseen because, you know,
Yeah, but
but they could, right? I
I
mean,
know in this time, Robert, it's a little different. The house was on the market earlier, and we pulled it off because we're redoing it inside. That's all. So people had seen it, but my question is, maybe the question would be, if they put in the contract subject to their inspection,
subject to
would I
inspection,
be
right?
allowed, even though it shows do not show, would I be allowed to show that property?
No, you'd have to move it out of do not show into show and then show it, because that's that simple, Mark.
But I can't put it back in do not show.
Yeah, you wouldn't put it back into do not show. You'd leave it there. And why would you? Because you're showing it. You're obviously showing.
No, I'm saying beyond the contract. He wants to see it. It's subject to his.
Well, I know, but think about this. Think about what you're saying. I'm showing the property. And the seller's okay with that.
As
the seller wants that.
As a condition of the contract.
The seller wants that. So it's very hard to make the argument, my seller prefers it in do not show, right? Because they're showing it and they want offers.
No, first of all, the seller doesn't even know this offer is coming. The guy called me today. That's what I'm saying.
Right, but you're going to tell him. But my point is that it's the way you treat all the other realtors. That's really what it is. Right? I don't care. Mark doesn't care. I'm not going to buy the property. But it's the way you treat all their. You need to let everybody in, or you don't let anybody in. That's the nature of our cooperative, and that's what makes it great. Is because Anna, Sandra, I'm looking at the names, Bill, Mary Jane, Christy, they may not all be part of your brokerage, and they may have clients and they're honoring this do not show, but yet you're filtering it in through the fingers. That's not fair to them.
Well, it wouldn't be a situation. I understand. I mean, in this case, this isn't where I'm out. This guy came out of nowhere, and who knows if it'll ever show up. I just want to know what my rights, well, I would say just use a common sense, right? That says, okay, my seller obviously wants to let people see the house, right? So let's do it by appointment, do it when it's convenient for them, pre-qualify the buyer, and just, I don't know, and while the work's going on, you can still show because you're doing it anyway, right? Okay. So get that cat out of the bag, so to speak. So I can show them pictures what it looks like, but I can't show them the house physically. Well, the idea is again, treat all your realtors the same. Well, so everybody that wants to see your house, I don't like the realtors. Everybody that wants to see your house with a buyer, treat them all the same. I got it. Okay.
Can't go wrong there. Hey, Robert, we've got a couple questions from Sandra that I want to address.
Yeah, I can see these.
You said members only is an active status, but the days on market resets to 0 or starts when the status is changed from members only. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, it's not a status, it's a type change. And that's a pretty bold thing that we're doing. And we're doing that because the way they came up with that was that based on the audience size, you've got a whole new set of people looking at it.
Got it.
So because it's a whole new set of people looking at it, and you have a whole new distribution channel and all of the stuff, that they said, okay, you know what, it's better for the world if they reset and get a fresh approach.
Okay. Sandra also says there are a lot of offers where being submitted subject to inspection, particularly last year when the market was so hot. A lot of agents use members only do not show to get those offer and double in the sale.
Yeah, so we're going to have bad actors no matter what we do. We've had them since we started in '98, and we're going to have them with us for the rest of the millennium. But we did do some numbers, and out of all of the members only do not show, there were only 14 that were moved from that type to another type within 24 hours, right?
Right.
And or to another status within 24 hours. And that is 0.000, of all the listings available. So the bad actors are going to act bad. You can report them. We can investigate. We modified our rules a little bit to give us a little bit more authority to demand these purchase agreements, so we can see whether or not they are made subject to inspection. And of the people that I've interviewed or I've investigated, most of them had this falling backwards in syndrome, like what Mark's explaining, where there's a Payoneer truck in the driveway. somebody rode by on their bike, right? I mean, that's how voracious this market is, that all you have to do is basically do anything out of the norm. And people will say,
right.
are
Trim
you
the
selling
tree in
your
the front
house?
yard.
Yeah, yeah. So like we had somebody put up electrical panels, or what do you call them? Not electrical panels, what do you call them? Solar panels.
Solar panels.
On their house. And I said, I wonder if they're getting, our neighbor that I was talking to said, I wonder if they're getting ready to sell. Yeah. And they weren't, they were just putting up solar panels.
Right. They have friends over for the holidays. It must be an open house. Let's see. Explain if it's okay to put a sign on the property coming soon. Yeah, we already talked about that. If there's anything else different than coming soon.
Well, Mark, question for you, brother. Well, I wave it to Joe Lamb.
We got to go over to Joe. Hey, Joe.
Yes, thank you. I'm patiently waiting for my turn.
Well, Mark.
Without Mark jumping in again, thank you, Mark. Well, you might need to enlighten us, why you create this. I used to hate it long ago because it's no coming soon. I always have to temporarily exclude MLS so I can get the property ready before I put an MLS.
Okay.
So when they have a coming soon, I love it because I don't need the MLS exclusion anymore because my property is not ready. The way I conduct the business, at least not necessary for everyone, I want my property ready, meaning I like the inspection to begin with. Some of them will be staging. So those are elapsed time. Usually I need at least, I tell all my seller, minimum 2 weeks for me to prepare. Do the inspection. I need to do my marketing, my flyer or whatever. Even I or hire somebody to do that. Particularly when I hire somebody to do that, there's a elapsed time to get the property ready. So there's a elapsed time, but your not show, do not show, all that complicates it even more, confuses me even more because I get caught off that. So I thought I don't need the MLS exclusion, so I can put the not ready, not show. But you enter MLS, it requires most of the information. I wasn't even prepared for it, and I could not finish my entry because I don't have those information.
It's an interesting approach.
Before you need minimum information you can create just to get an MLS number.
Well,
so that's
Robert
what they
over there
to the market. So
Joe, you sort of hit a fresh topic that Robert is rummaging around in the company right now of on a do not show, should I be able to put all the pictures and show? Right? Can I put the video up? Do I need to put
there's a couple of things. There's a couple of things to Joe's comment. Number one, thank you for that.
Because it did not fill up the MLS entry form, a lot of things need to get together with. So I don't know everything about a property yet. I need to put all of those things before I can finish, right?
That's so the exclusion process is still available to everybody. You would file it, you would submit the exclusion to the MLS and lieu of the property.
From now on until you change the rules.
And you can do that, and that's never left. What's different, Joseph, is that during the exclusion period, you can't discuss it with Mark Blau, your property, unless you discuss it with everybody. That's the Tur cooperation rule. So if you exclude it, keep it within your brokerage, no problem. You're ready, get it ready, all pink and rosy, boom, put it regular active out to Zillow, Realtor.com. You're flying 1,000 miles an hour. Good job, right? So that all of that's the same. You did point out a thing that we have in listing management. It's called show required fields.
I'm going to bring that one up, Robert.
Yeah. So when you go to list, we developed this mostly out of people that were late for tour. And they said, oh my gosh, it's, my tour deadline's at noon and it's 11:15. I have to get my listing in. Well, so we have a view that's called a show required fields only. And this will only display right there. This will only display the fields that are required to get a listing on and get an MLS number. So it's the address, it's the city, but you don't have to put, I think
the foundation type.
Yeah, or roof type or view or any of those things. Most of these required fields, these red dots will auto import for you. So that's very fast. And then if you go to like interior features, there's just heating. Do you have a dining room, family room? That's it. right? There's just very few. So you can blast through that in, I don't know, 10 minutes. And you get 3 days to add a photo. So you can list with using required fields only, no photo into our regular active, and you're up and running right away in 15 minutes. So we try to make it expedient for you. Then you come back and you can flesh it out, get the photos from the professional photographer, talk about the view or, whatever those things you want. Is there a point of sale ordinance? That kind of thing. So we do have a speed load, so to speak.
Do I have to do something special? Because I think when I did that last time, it requires me to do a lot more than what you just mentioned.
No, usually you have to click the required fields only.
Well, thanks for letting me know now, but yes.
Where were you when I needed you?
Well, these are the nuggets that we're uncovering, right? And so one of the things about, if I may, one of the things about listing management and Matrix is that they're two different applications, but they're very, very symbiotic. That anything you put in Matrix in listing management, you can extract from Matrix. So you can search for properties by APN. You can search for properties with certain roof types. You can search for properties or any of the data that goes into listing management. You can also search using the advanced fields in Matrix. Mark, can you show that? Because a lot of people don't know about our advanced fields.
On the Matrix side of the world.
Yeah. So you have all of these, we have something like 320 listing fields that you can use to get a property painted or fleshed out. But they're obviously not here in this little boxes. You would have to add them like Mark has. You can see who's it occupied by, how many garage spaces there are. Are there any other rooms? What about any existing additional structures? I could search for things that were, I don't know, whatever you want to.
Well, and combinations of things, right? It needs to have a pool, but I also want an apartment over the garage, right? You can just keep layering on the filtering.
Yeah, and drill all the way down to just the particular APNs. You could actually put a save cert. I do it all the time whenever. Well, I shouldn't say it, but okay, I do it all the time when we're looking for properties. We'll say, show me if anything happens to this APN.
Yep.
Right, and I'll get notified.
Face south available yet? You have a face east.
Oh yeah. You've got property faces right there.
Okay,
so the listing
it used to be east only, but good. I haven't used a while because before for Asian they want to face south. Just want you to know.
Right. Yeah. But remember, Joseph, that only as good as the listing agent that's putting the listing in. Every listing is only as good as the listing agent.
And this is a good point too, is that you might have a specialized market and you want that to be a required field, right? That they have to put property faces, but you'd be imposing that on everyone that uses our system, and they may not want to put the property faces because theirs goes north, right? So they don't want to be automatically excluded from a market. So when we look at required fields, available fields, custom fields, all of these things, they all need to make sense for the broadest segment that we can serve. But yet at the same time, we're very interested in our local market, right? San Mateo County, Santa Clara County, anything that happens within our service area, we want to do a good job.
While
you're there, quick question while you're there, back to that previous space you're at. I saw private notes and public notes, so you can do a wild card on that one, right?
Yeah, so you do star. Yeah, I do it all the time. Star 408 star to see if anybody has their phone numbers.
But you cannot do a wild card on the whole thing, right?
You mean just asterisk?
Yeah, because right now, if I see the wild card, if it's not in the private notes or public notes, but it's a feature that I wasn't even thinking of, or didn't think there was a field for. I mean, can I search?
No, you're talking about wildcard field search
on everything.
Yeah, is there a field called?
Or can I just search on every field? Say, show me whether it's in the predefined fields you already have, or it's in the public.
Oh, search every field possible.
Yeah, no.
Come on, man, let's
If-
get that, guys.
If I can real quick, because I feel like we're starting down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, okay, Jody.
I
That's
think
why
maybe
Jody's
for
here.
November, what we should do is like actually list a house and go through every single possible box you could actually check. And then to Mark's point, we can talk about, can you search for wine cellar or man room or she shed, you know, those types of things. So I want to, so to Joseph's point, I know we started asking all kinds of other questions, and these are all amazing information, which is good. But I know we've been teasing that RPR and the e-property watch for a couple months, and I want to make sure we get to that. Christy, I know you've had your hand up. Do you have a question on this? Very, very quickly.
Uh-oh, I think she fell off.
Or maybe she forgot her question.
So no, I'm here, but I don't have a question on this. I have a question on a Dom question, but it can wait till next time. It's not important.
Okay, or Christy, give me a call if you need to. I'll put my number down in the
Thanks, Mark.
You bet.
Yeah. Okay, so I just want to, we could wrap up this part of it, but I think this leads us to probably our October topic, which is maybe we ask somebody to come prepared with a listing and do a
Jody, I've got the ability to list in a special, what we call a sandbox.
Cool.
So I can hit submit
Okay.
without putting my house on the market, which I've done before by accident.
Why not?
But we won't talk about that.
Okay, so we'll go to and I don't know if that was everything that you guys had for that part. I'm really sorry. Or if we want to get to the RPR and that e-property watch piece.
Yeah, I think, let's see, I'm sort of just going over the bigger questions. I think the key thing, Robert, if you had to sum it up, where'd he go? There he is. You sort of had to sum up. List or exclude. Excludes are still available, and you can do them online. They're pretty darn easy, just like putting in a listing. Clear cooperation from NAR. We addressed it through the members only options that are available, members only show, members only do not show. And each time you move through those active types, you reset days on market, you reset your list history and your price history as well. If that's correct. That's advertising. If I'm excluded, I can't put a sign in the yard. Right. The second I do, I now have 24 hours. Excuse me, I have one business day. One business day to get the listing on the MLS. Mm-hmm. You can put it in members only, do not show at that point. And advertising if I'm in members only, do not show, I can do flyers. I can do a sign out front. It's got to have coming soon on it. I can talk about it at Mark Blau's Monday Masterminds meeting. 10 o'clock, Mark, every Monday, always on Monday. The
9:45, brother.
9:45 is when the party starts.
We missed you today. We missed you.
He's a busy guy. So anything else, Robert, that's key to getting a listing started and staying out of?
No, but if you have any questions, just get a hold of our compliance team or our support team, and they'll be glad to help. There is a question. Another question. Sorry.
Jody's going to track you down, Mark.
We are done with this topic. We will revisit it in October. I'm really sorry, Mark, but I do want to be respectful of everybody's time to get to.
You're right. You're right, Jody.
The RPR and those types of things.
This is where I'm gonna drop off, Mark. RPR is not one of my.
Not part of your bailiwick, as they say, or
I don't have a. You don't
got a hound in that game or a hound in that hunt.
I don't have a legitimate comment. I can't bring anything to the party there.
Okay.
So. All right. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Robert, for being with us.
Welcome. Bye. Anytime.
Okay. So we wanted to take a look at two things. And Jody, I definitely do want to talk about eProperty Watch. I'm going to go pick it up here off the Matrix dashboard. Jody, because we've had a hard time getting to this topic, my team reached out to CoreLogic, who runs eProperty Watch. We did a 30-minute vendor spotlight with them. So there's a video that's going to follow this discussion. We should have it up within a week or so, I think. Go to YouTube, folks. Go to the subscriber area. Go to MLS listings when you get to YouTube. Click on our logo. Our page comes up. what we call our channel, and there's a subscription button there. Subscribe to it. Every time we do one of these vendor spotlights, you get the notification that it's out. So eProperty Watch is as I said, a CoreLogic product. It's located right down here. It may not be in this exact position on your Matrix dashboard, okay? And mine's not going to show a lot because I'm not an agent. But here's what it is. This is a free, okay, big cool word, free notification drip system that's built into your dashboard from Matrix. Not only will it be sending out listings regarding neighborhood information to your clients, your roster that is in the Matrix area, but then it gives you this dashboard as to who's getting them, how many they're getting, what type of communications. It sets up another channel of discussion between you and not so much, this is the ability to stay with that client forever. Okay. Stay with the client forever. Get the referral business, because you're always talking, you're constantly once a month in touch with Bob and Mary, but Bob and Mary's son or daughter want to buy a house now, right? That keeps that communication, keeps you in their mind at all times. I still get a lot of mailers up here at the house from agents that I've never done business before, but somewhere along the line, I or my wife and they bumped into each other pretty consistently, and they've put me on some kind of drip system. This is just one of the offerings that eProperty Watch has for you. It does take a registration, so you're going to go in the first time you click on it, and it's not going to take you to this dashboard page. It's going to take you into build a profile. What's your email? What type of listings do you want to send out? Who do you want to send them to? Bring over your import your contacts from Matrix to make it happen. Absolutely, there is a series of videos, but I really want you to wait for the one that we're coming out with here within the next 5 days or so, because we had a great training session with the guys at CoreLogic relating to eProperty Watch, and it is free. They have a enterprise package, or if you're a team or something like that, they do have a package for those bigger organizations that is chargeable by the month. But for the agent, the realtor out there that needs a good campaign system working on their behalf while they're out, actually selling the property, eProperty Watch may be the solution for you. Jody, anything else you want to do on that one? We'll probably touch on it again in October, because I'm, like I say, I sort of waiting for that video to come out. We're editing literally as we speak. It's being edited right now.
Can you just show how you got to the eProperty Watch? How did you get there from? Yep.
So from the Pro homepage, go to the Matrix dashboard. When you get there, you're going to look for this box right here, okay? But it may be up here in the upper left-hand corner of your dashboard. I just happen to have it down here, okay? Now, if you don't see it anywhere on the screen, it may be hiding over here in this additional area, and I can pop this right into here. So if for some reason it's not showing on your screen, take a look at the additional box, and you can drag and bring it out to the dashboard and put it wherever you want, okay? And as I said, the first time you click in, it's going to take you not to a dashboard that looks like that. It's going to take you into that login, build a profile environment for you. So inexpensive, free, easy to set up, easy to read. It's not overly complicated. The key thing is just staying out there, keeping in touch with your past and future clients, basically.
So, Mark, how's that different than maybe I'm missing something? How's that different than creating an auto email with somebody with? Well,
the key difference is that eProperty Watch is going to give you analytics. How many people opened up those emails? Who clicked on what? How many do you have going out? How many communications do you have going out at one time? Matrix really doesn't do the analytics for you. It can do the action. Show me a 3-bedroom, 2-bath that comes up in 95030. Easy, very easy. But we also remember that in the world of Matrix, if your client doesn't click on the very first email you send them, or they don't look at any of their emails from you in a 60-day time period, Matrix has to shut them off by law. Matrix has to shut that feed off because it's considered spam at that point. So eProperty Watch bypasses that that problem. So nice little tool sitting in the background, just doing some work for y'all. The other thing we wanted to take a look at, and this one's got a lot of information on, I'm going to go back to the pro homepage, is RPR. Joseph, you had asked, why you have to do another login when you get there. That's because RPR is owned and operated by NAR. We just happen to have a link to them. Okay. So the first time, if you try Realtor Property Resource, RPR, you need to bring your NERDS number to the table. Let's see. I am totally guessing at what my number is here. No.
And I can, I'm actually gonna try to work with RPR directly to get some training. So stay tuned for some of that coming.
Got it. So, and now, okay, well, let's see if I can remember what this is. It's probably gonna lock me out. So rather than give everyone my password to RPR, RPR is a nationwide MLS. Okay, that's their thing. But it not only does it have it has all the listings that are available, but it also has my house too. And I'm not on an MLS. So it's tracking every home in the United States. There is a commercial side to RPR as well. Let me bring that back up where I can see it.
So what do you need to log in? I was going to try to log in.
Do you have a NERDS number?
Yes.
It should take it.
With your email address?
Yeah, you go with your email address. And if I could, let me see if I can figure this. Because it's going to want to take a look at my screen, but I don't want to throw my password up there. So it's a member benefit coming to you through your NAR membership. It is a nationwide database of not only all the homes that are on the market, but also all the homes that are not on the market. Where can I use it? How can I use it? Can I use it to look inside of Campbell? Absolutely. It's a nationwide database. But it's going to feed you all the information that we've got, but it's also going to feed you, what's the demographics? What's the economics? What's the economy like in Campbell? What are the major companies in Campbell? It really does a great job of bringing in data from many, many more places than what's in the MLS. We get our information from you and from the tax people. That's it. RPR gets it from the Treasury Department, the Census Department. It gets it from different financial institutions. Now it does have how Matrix or Zillow, the great Zillow's estimate, right? The great big guess from Zillow. RPR has it, but they do it a little bit more scientifically. And because it's run by realtors, if you or someone has listed that property recently, it will factor in the price that you, as the real estate professional, have applied to that piece of property. So I like the estimates that are in there. They're much better. They're usually way more accurate than the other third-party got no rules types of places. Jody, did you get in?
I'm about to.
Okay.
And then I was gonna let you drive.
How about you put it up? I'm gonna stop sharing. You put it up on your screen.
Wait, okay, I'm gonna share my screen just so you guys can see, like, honestly, I went in and I created an account because I don't have an account. But so I got to this, so it sent me an email for those of you that haven't done this yet. I clicked on it, and then I'm setting it up, but I don't see Santa Clara County here.
No, because you're gonna go to MLS listings.
Oh, got
Right
it.
there.
Okay.
And then this is gonna be your, have you already entered your NERDS number?
Yeah.
Then go ahead and trying to think, you should be, if you enter your NERDS number there, it should take it.
All right, let's try. Now you guys can see, this is what happens when when you guys call and you guys say, hey, did I complete my code of ethics? I'm just showing you guys, this is how we look it up.
By the way, I have one question right now. Before you can add the buyer agent name on the listing once you've sold, but right now it shows if the agent not in the Santa Clara County, kind of they said you only can add like a out of area. You cannot add the name of the buyer's agent.
Right. If the buyer's agent is on the roster of an MLS that we work with, it will show up. If it doesn't show up, we can add it for you. But if that buyer's agent comes from, let's say, Fresno County, Kern County, San Luis Obispo County, counties that don't have a data share, all it's going to say is recip agent in the buyer slot. That's because we don't have access to their roster.
Okay, well, now I have a. Okay. Well, thanks. I'll remember. Okay.
She'll remember. So here she is. She's signing in. Now, the cool thing about this is, and up there in the location area, Jody, type in, oh boy, type in Fresno. Everyone's always asking us. There's Fresno, California. Everyone's always, Mark, when are you going to get information data on Fresno? You can go through RPR, right? Because Fresno gives their data to NAR. So sometimes all those counties that I mentioned before, Fresno, Kern, San Luis Obispo, as an example, Lake Tahoe, that
That's
marketplace
cute.
that we don't have data shares with, they share data with RPR. And so you can pick up that agent level data inside the RPR environment.
Wait, is this how much it's selling for? $65,000?
Those are probably it could be a lease. No, that's a sale price.
Wow.
But you have to live in Fresno, Jody. It does have its drawbacks.
About that.
Pay me.
So can
Anna,
you
what did you
search?
say? Anna.
You need to pay me this amount to live in Fresno.
Yes. They'll pay me $100,000 to live there. Okay.
Right. I'm moving there. LOL, says Joseph. So
you can look at, it looks like you can see what's pending, what's going on, all of those different things.
Right. It's got some great reports. They got lots of different types of reports. If you click on any one of those listings, it will take you to an option for a report button. I have always said, and I will continue to say, that the data you receive, the reports you receive from MLS listings are very Elyria, Ohio.
I have family in Elyria. I want to know how much they're paying.
I have been to Elyria, Ohio before.
Interesting.
Because that's where the Moen Faucet Company is. Yep. Everybody in town works for Moen, kind of stuff.
So does this mean there's not much active there then?
That's correct. That's correct. It can also mean this, and we have an MLS in the state of California who doesn't like working with NAR, and so they don't send them the data. The Northwest MLS, I don't believe has their data in here. So there's some pockets of the nation that don't cooperate well. And so you may not find those, but many times the areas where we don't have data share are available within RPR, or sort of a fan of also the Realtor.com Pro, Realtor.com for the professional, which is the buttons just below RPR on our website. Jody, we can handle this a couple different ways because I know we're at 3:01. I've got contacts at RPR, and I could bring that contact with me next time. We could do a video festival. We got lots of different ways to address, but RPR really sort of needs an hour of it on its own time to fully break down all the features and benefits, because it is benefit rich.
Interesting.
Yeah. Oh, Anaheim, Disneyland. Are you planning to buy the condo next to California Experience?
I mean, if I could.
If you could. One of the other things that's good to look for, guys, like I say, you can look at Campbell, you can look at Palo Alto, you can look, a lot of different places. But maybe you've got a client coming in from out of state and you want to get an idea of what their house is going to sell for, in Elyria before they land here in the Bay Area, and you have to resuscitate them at the airport out there on the sidewalk when they look at our pricing.
I mean, a condo in Los Altos is 10 times the amount in Fresno.
Yeah.
But like Anna said, you got to pay me to live there.
Better coffee. Dragers. You got Dragers. There's no Dragers in Fresno. So let me get in touch with my people at RPR, Jody. Do we want to use?
Oh, and this gives you open house information as well.
Everything. Yeah, this is a full MLS.
A price drop. Interesting.
Yeah.
So sorry to interrupt. Can I put property search alerts here for my clients?
They no, this does not have a notification process. That's one of the shortcomings, I think, of RPR, and I've told them that before. It does not have an auto notification system built in. You would have to be looking for the property and push it to them. You can save searches, right? I want to save search for all the townhomes and condos in Los Altos kind of stuff, but there's no way for it to auto send that to the client.
I don't know what it is, but the alerts that go from MLS, people just don't like them.
Yeah, they're that goes back to that. They're industrial looking, in comparison to all the really cool websites that are out there.
Yeah.
When the MLS sends something, it's very dry to me. We are moving most of that over to our .com environment, what we call .com, our public site, because it's got all the bells and whistles and it looks good, and you can tag it. The other thing to consider is, MLS Touch or HomeSnap, the mobile tools have great branding capability. So when it gets to your client, it's all branded with your material on it. That's another option for you.
Can you do, Sandra asked if you can do CMAs with RPR.
You can.
CMAs are great on RPR.
Yeah, there is a CMA option for you here.
I'm going to buy this one.
You like that one?
Mm-hmm.
It's only 11 mil.
Hey, Jody, I found a better place for you. I'm just looking at it right now in Gilroy at 7445 Croy Road. This is absolutely embarrassing. $345,000 for this thing. It's a cab. Looks like Beverly Hills Hillbilly's old cabin.
It's a fixer-upper.
Like unbelievable, guys. This is why the other states are laughing at us. And we sell this crap.
That's that open floor plan you've always wanted, Mark.
It's air conditioned. There's no windows.
It's airy. That's an airy, open environment. That's pretty beautiful, Jody. So Jody, we'll come back in October. We want to do how to list a house, right? We'll just go through.
And I think you should literally box by box. And then to your point, how do you search through that? Does it have a barn for horses? Does it have a wine cellar?
Robert and I always say the more information you put in, the more chances you have of getting that listing to come out, because you found that one thing, right? It's got a 4-car garage.
Yep.
Right. And you got a car collector you're working with.
Yep.
And that one little piece of information can sell a house. So we'll look at it from both sides, Jody. I think from the listing agent side, what's the important things to be entering and how to enter them. And then from the buyer side, how can I use the advanced data fields to find that very selective house that I'm looking for? It's got to be horse property. Yes. I need a lot of garages and I need an extra couple of barns out there.
And a wine cellar.
Yeah. And a wine cellar. Good point.
Hey, Jode.
Yes.
Can I make a suggestion? This is really good stuff here. We got a decent turnout today. Why don't we do this twice a month instead of once a month? Is that doable? I know Mark would love to do it.
Probably. If Mark would be down, starting next month, I'd be happy to put something out. It's also getting suggestions from everyone. Sandra had a great suggestion about You know, there's a lot of things that MLS can do that people don't realize. And sometimes we uncover those, like today, we started going down like a rabbit hole with searching things and what do you put where and how do you find it? And I think that lends itself to its own class of how do you like, and you guys started down that, but like, how do you put a house on the market? Like, how
So
do you
Jody,
do
I'd
it?
be happy to do, you know, maybe there it's a MLS Monday, right? And then there's a like a little offshoot to it. And so we plan, you know, a week after every MLS Monday, we come back and do a follow-up session to the previous workshop.
Mhm.
Right.
Or do a MLS Monday on Masterminds.
Mm.
Yes, look at that. See, I saw that over there.
Anyway, Jody, thank you. Mark, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark.
Yep. So come back next October. In October. I'm telling you, my brain.
And this will be, and you'll post this on the score thing, right? Score videos.
Yep. Well,
Thanks,
Mark
Jody.
and I usually meet 2 weeks before. We kind of go through everything, make sure we're on the same page, and then I get it out. They're all recorded. You know, we are going to get somebody, Mark's got contacts for RPR. So Anna, we can do some very specific RPR stuff.
Yep.
And walk through and maybe for that one, there is no agenda and you guys drive the agenda. You tell us what you want to see in it. And this will be a, you know, first to raise your hand. That's what we'll go with first. You know, these
Thank
are
you.
interactive for us. So
Just real quick, I see guys, most of you here, you know each other and you've been in this business forever. Keep in mind that some people like me are relatively new. I've been in real estate for less than a year and I have never done, you know, my own listing. I co-listed, but I've never inputted in I would love to go through like exactly, you know, a demo, how you input a listing.
Wonderful.
And when you talk, you know, language that I don't understand, I get completely lost. Like for first 40 minutes, I was like, okay, zoning out and making me a tea because I just didn't know what you're talking about. So just if you can keep it in mind and stay on the subject.
And Anna, you're part of the mastermind group, aren't you?
Well, I try to, but I'm kind of not systematically joining. So I try to.
You should join because everybody's there to help you. Also, if Mark's not available.
Yeah.
And always feel free, Anna, to, you know, get that hand up real quick. Hey, wait a second. What's COE? Right? There are no crazy questions here.
No.
I mean, there's always new people coming through, and I think you're absolutely right. It's sort of, you know, the Marks and the Josephs and the Sandras and the Bills. You know, it's our job to help bring up the new folks. You guys are the next generation that's going to take it all over. You know, we want to leave it in good hands, as they say.
Thank you. I know those are great tools, and I know I'm probably utilizing like 10% of what it can do, and that's why, you know, I wanted to learn more how I can use it.
We have the best MLS, Anna, the best.
Thank you, Mark.
Hey, Mark, Jody, and Sandra, 4 o'clock today. Leadership.
So last 4.
I might have my boss with me, so we'll see.
Bring him along. I don't care.
All right.
Okay, everybody.
Bye, you guys. Thank you so much, everybody.